Hello, Mr. Ross. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. It's an honor to be speaking with you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
I'll introduce you to my co-host, Ton.
Hey there, how you doing?
All right. I'm good, Tongue. How are you? That is your real name.
No, it's Ton, like 2,000 pounds.
Oh, Ton.
Yeah.
I thought it was a body part. Good. Well, that's even better.
Got some tons. Yeah, if you're ready to go, we'll get started here.
Ready to go.
Pleasure to have you on. You are the new voice for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Tell the listeners what they can expect, especially for those that have maybe only seen, WWE.
Well, it's going to be a significant difference. The eyeball test will tell you that the New Japan guys are very fundamentally sound. They are more than anything extremely physical. So it's more of a throwback style to the older days of a previous generation from now. Because the product is very physical. The Japanese call it the Japanese strong style. That essentially means that the wrestlers work very close, they work very snug, and that's how they're taught. And it's not something that a lot of wrestlers that are not used to that culture would relish. So it's a different deal. We're not promoting any other projects or products other than what you're seeing on your screen. So we're going to call it like it's a sporting event. We're not going to insult your intelligence, and I think you will hear and see a definitive difference in this wrestling product that's going to debut Friday night versus some other North American domestic wrestling products.
Yeah, it's great that you have signed on because, I mean, obviously you are considered by many the greatest announcer, and the fact that you weren't announcing was a shame, but I think this kind of style is really going to fit your style well, as you mentioned, no hashtags or, shilling products and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it does, and I appreciate the compliments as well. I missed being on the air. I missed doing wrestling and being around the talents, being around the business. When I left WWE in 2013, I really wasn't ready to retire, and I didn't retire. I just reinvented, and as a result of that, I was a little reluctant to take another wrestling gig. I turned a couple of things down. I just didn't like the presentation, the product. I didn't need it just for the payday, so I wanted to have fun with what I'm doing. I want to be able to control my travel and not be in that 51-week-a-year grind that I was in for decades. So I found a product I like. I found a travel schedule that it's like 8 times a year to L.A. Spend 2 or 3 days there, and I'll do 3 shows a day, voiceovers. So it's a good scenario for me at this stage of the game. I'm really happy for the opportunity, and I think that Friday night's a big night on Access because they got my 1-hour interview called Voice Versus with Michael Chiavallo, and then our first broadcast with Josh Barnett. So a momentous week for me here to kind of get back in the game.
Well, as far as New Japan goes, who are some of the wrestlers that we should be watching out for?
Well, the New Japan recently signed 4 of the New Japan talents were signed by WWE. Shinsuke Nakamura, who's absolutely amazing. The phenomenal AJ Styles, and the tag team of Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Now, they're signed and with WWE now. These matches that we're broadcasting, when they were taped, all those talents I mentioned that are in WWE now were still in their home base in New Japan. So those 4 guys are really good. But the top stars, I would say, are the incumbents that are going to stay there, is a young man by the name of Okada, and he is he reminds me of when I signed The Rock back in the day. I met him, I talked to him. He's got a very organic chemistry. He's really a good guy, really charismatic, handsome kid, taller than most Japanese wrestlers. He's probably at 6'3", handsome young man, as I mentioned. So they're going to build around him. Another wrestler that's kind of their version of John Cena is named Tanahashi, is also a huge star. They really have a lot of depth, and you'll see that on these subsequent weeks on these TV shows. And instead of having 3-minute matches or 2-minute matches or whatever, and have a litany of them, we have some shows that have 1 match on it for the whole hour. It's great. This show on Friday night has 2 matches. So both of the matches have plenty of time to tell a compelling story that makes it easier to watch.
Yeah, so it definitely sounds like something that maybe, some of the WWE fans, the disgruntled ones, might want to jump on board for.
I think so. It's worth trying. If you get access, it's on some cable systems. It's on DirecTV. It's on all the cable satellite providers. I know I have DirecTV. It's on channel 340. But I think if you're a wrestling fan at some point in your life and you kind of migrate away from it, the product today is not exactly what fits your taste. I think that this may fill that void. I really do, because when I sat down and started doing the voiceovers, it reminded me of a generation or so ago when I was calling matches. I started calling matches in the 70s. So, but during that time, throughout the 80s, the NWA, even in the Attitude Era of WWE in the late 90s, early 2000s, the product was very physical and very intense because there's so much competition. And the fans in Japan are very discerning. They're quiet. They're absorbing all they see. But boy, if they catch you, if they think that you're not giving them the effort that they want, they bail on you. They don't boo you out of the building. They don't try to hijack the show or anything. They just stop. You're done. And so there's always that great competition there. And we all know that no matter what you're doing in life, competition does make you better.
Well, do you think with this kind of style that they have in New Japan and even in NXT, I guess you were mentioning kind of the older traditional style, do you think enough time has passed where maybe old can be new again and some of those slowed down matches might be able to work on the mainstream?
Absolutely. I really do. I think that it's like watching a good football game. If you watch a football game that you really enjoy and your team is winning, then it's generally because the same traits that have been present for decades: blocking and tackling, who controls the line of scrimmage, who limits their turnovers. There's still the same principles in place. The uniforms are jazzier, the music's different, the pyro's included, the stadiums are more opulent, et cetera, et cetera. But the game, the fundamentals of the game are still basically the same thing. So I think the same thing is to be true in wrestling. Fundamentals. Do you sell? Do you work at a pace that I can actually process what I'm seeing? Are the announcers calling what I'm seeing or what they want to talk about? So I really think that this product's going to fill a lot of voids, and I'm really excited. It kind of reinvigorated me, and on the heels of that, I got signed by CBS to start doing boxing. So I'll do boxing on CBS Sportsnet starting on Saturday night, March 12th. So I've got a diverse schedule, but one that is everything I'm doing is fun. And I know it's old school, maybe it's cliched, but when you have a job that doesn't seem like work, it seems more like fun, it really makes things easier.
Yeah, that's awesome, the boxing thing. And I know you also have a lot of other stuff going on, obviously your podcast and the one-man shows. Are you still doing more of the one-man shows, and maybe we'll see you in Minnesota sometime?
Well, I hope so. I haven't played Minnesota, and I would love to because I know the long-standing AWA-based wrestling heritage there from many, many generations that grew up with Vern Gagne's AWA wrestling. So I'd hope to. I got 3 shows coming up WrestleMania weekend in Dallas at the House of Blues. All 3 are close to being sold out, and the venue seats about 1,000 folks. So I hope to be able to do more of the one-man shows, the meet and greets, the Q&As, and the little, the stand-up as this year progresses. But with wrestling and boxing, I got to be very careful how I try to fit those tours in there. So, but I love doing them. It's fun, and so because it's fun, I'll want to keep doing them. And I hope I get to play Minneapolis, and maybe there's a couple of days in Minnesota I can get out of that. I'd like to do that. It's fun going to places like Minnesota because of this. And I'm not kissing up, but they've had wrestling there. Minneapolis was a territory hub. And sometimes when you go in these states that had strong local wrestling territories, the Q&As are infinitely better. The level of questioning is infinitely better. So I had a great time with doing those shows. So I hope to circle one of those dates one of these times. I'd like to come there. It'd be fun. I'd rather come in the summer, maybe not in January or February, but I'm a weak at heart on that deal. Sure. The weather makes cowards of us all.
Well, you mentioned WrestleMania, and I want to get your sense as to, I guess, the size of it this year. Do you think 100,000 people are going to wind up being in that building?
Absolutely, and I'll tell you why. It's not just because of the card. It might not even be because of the card. I think the brand name of WrestleMania, coupled with the fact that it's going to be held in this palace known as AT&T Stadium. And I live in Oklahoma. That's where I'm talking to you from now. So a lot of Dallas Cowboy fans here where I live in Norman. But if you talk to them, you'd find out that the majority of them have never been in the AT&T Stadium. They always wanted to go, but they couldn't get tickets for the Cowboys. The tickets were too expensive. The thing about this WrestleMania is that it affords you opportunity to watch an event in this stadium that looks like a spaceship. I think the tickets, the lowest price tickets were in the $20 range. So and because it's an American airline hub in Dallas and a Southwest airline hub as well at Love Field, I think that they will have 100,000 plus with no issues. I truly believe that. And then if the card evolves and the storylines for the said card are compelling, that gives you even more of a reason to go. But the atmosphere will be great. I think they will do 100,000. I think it'll be a history-making event, and I'll be happy to be down there when it's all going on. And the city of Dallas is going to realize $30 to $45 million in new money thanks to WrestleMania. It's been a proven fact in all the cities they've been in several years. That's why it'd be great for WrestleMania to be in Minneapolis at the new stadium at some point, because it means so much to the community.
Yeah, hopefully that does happen sometime in the next couple of years or so. Again, New Japan Pro Wrestling airing on Friday nights, and it's been an absolute honor having you on today, Jim.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate your time, and always enjoy talking to folks in Minnesota. They're you guys just north of me right now, north of me on I-35. It's a few hundred miles, but it's just north of me.
Well, I'll be down there in a few minutes, Jim.
Okay, come on down. Got some barbecue sauce for you.
Beautiful. Thanks a lot.
Okay, guys. Thanks. Have a great day.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.